Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I hope you're well. I'm just going to give a few minutes for a few people to join us on this live session, this beautiful, warm, sunny Friday evening. Hello, hello, hello. Um, Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Bloom and Flourish Live. I'm so excited to have you on with us today. For those who may be joining us for the first time, my name is Olufolake, and I'm the founder of the Bloom and Flourish Hub, which is a community for women aged 30 and over. It's a safe space, a supportive space where we can learn, unlearn, grow, and navigate life with a little more kindness and a lot more support. So I believe that you joining us today is a blessing, and I'm glad that you're here with us. This month of May, we've been talking about. So we normally have a theme every month, and our theme for the month of May is navigating life's garden. And so this month we've been exploring the reality that life happens in seasons, and some seasons are pleasant, some can be a bit tricky. But whatever life is and whatever comes our way, if we can have a better understanding of what's going on, it helps us to go through each season with a bit more kindness and a bit more wisdom. So today I've got a special guest. I have got the amazing Jale, who I will bring up in a minute. And we will be having a conversation about seasons, because that's our theme of the month, navigating the seasons of life, navigating life's garden. And so I will be bringing up Jale in a minute to have a conversation with us. In the meantime, if you are already in the room with us, if you can please let us know where you're dialing in from or calling from, please do put it in the chat. Let's know where you are joining us from this afternoon. Without further ado, I am going to bring up Jale.
Hello.
Hi, Jale.
Hi. Hi.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me live today. I'm really, really excited for this session. Before we go into the meat and the real discussion for this evening, I would like you to please introduce yourself to our beautiful audience.
Okay, so my name's Jaleh. I'm nearly 59. I'll be 59 next month. I know. I've been retired for coming up 4 years. I left working for the NHS 4 years ago. And I'm now, as my grandson says, busier now than I was when I was at work.
True that. Wow, that's amazing. Jale, you're one person that I really, really admire. There's so much that I admire about you. And that's because I've known you for a couple of years. I've kind of followed your journey for a few years. And so many things about you, like, just touches me. And I know as you share with our audience today, they're going to see the reason I'm saying that. So I want us to start the conversation from my very first question, which is, so you are a mom, you are a grandma, you are retired, you wear so many hats, you are a very busy person, as your grandson says. You are even way busier now than you were when you were in active service. And that's amazing. So I just want to ask you, just looking back on your life so far, what season of your life do you think has shaped you the most?
Wow, that's a really a really interesting conversation, because, as you've alluded to, I've had many different seasons, and some of them have been harder than others. Some of them have been like winter seasons, where everything's been stripped back and you just feel as though you are completely in the wilderness. And there's been other seasons that have been like in the the high of summer, with all the beautiful flowers and just all the different things. So I would say, because the thing is with seasons of life is they mold you into who you are.
Yeah.
They I mean, if I hadn't have been through the difficult things like that I've been through, then I wouldn't be who I am
True.
today,
Yeah.
because you know, you bring away different things from each season of life. But I would say that my childhood was colourful. My childhood was tough. Um, and I think that my childhood made me into the empathetic, caring person that I am.
Mm. Wow, that's amazing. And it just goes to show how sometimes when life is tough, sometimes when things happen and they're not very pleasant, there's a way that it, like you said, it makes you, it's like it's like the sweet side of a bad situation, if you like
Yeah,
it's not pleasant
yeah,
at
yeah,
this
yeah.
time, but then
Mm-hmm.
you go through it and you become a better person for it.
Yes,
And I
yeah,
think that's really, really amazing. And I think the ability to take lessons from life experiences that are not pleasant and kind of use it to your own advantage, I think is such a blessing, because
yeah,
it's not natural. When things go wrong, the tendency is to almost want to give up and like think, why
yeah,
me, and
yeah.
find every reason.
Go down
Yeah,
that hunt tunnel. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm.
But being able to take lessons from those seasons and take it forward, I think is the most amazing thing. So
Yeah.
I just want to ask you off the back of that. So what do you think is like the key thing that has helped you move forward during those difficult times, like taking those lessons and making them into like beautiful parts of you?
Yeah, I would say it's my faith,
Mm,
my relationship
yeah,
with God, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely, without one iota of a doubt. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And I echo that because I know, faith plays a really strong part in that. I definitely agree. I would say the same for myself. Um, and my next question will be that, do you think difficult seasons change the way we see ourselves or see other people? Do you think any of the seasons that you've gone through has changed you in any way?
yeah, I do actually, because I think you can't go through
Yeah.
a stripped down season. You can't go through a hard season without it making you, in some ways, if you're not too careful, it can make you more cautious of people. It can
Hmm.
make you more it can make you feel that you can't trust people, so you have
Yeah.
to, you have to make that conscious
Yeah.
decision to not allow that to happen, which is not always easy.
Yeah. Absolutely. That is so true. Um, yeah, it's really, you have to be really conscious not to allow it, to, especially if it's having a negative impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of intentionality in that. Thank you so much. I just want to say to everyone watching, if you have a question for Jale, please put it in the chat and we'll come to it in a minute. Where we have a list of like talking points, but if you have any specific questions that you would want Jale to answer today, we've got Jale here. She's very busy, so let's make the most of having her today and ask her any questions that we may have. So going on to my next question, I know that you are a retired nurse, and you spent quite a bit of your working life, if that's the right way to put it, caring for cancer patients and their families, which I think is the most admirable, is the most beautiful thing to do. So just talking about that, what has that side of your life taught you about life, and what has that experience taught you about like loss and the importance of making the most of the present season, like
Yeah.
the seasons that you're in?
Well, because I think we go through life, don't we? When things are going well, we go through life just going through day to day and just not thinking about the long term,
Mm,
long term, your long term goal or your long term achievements that you want
yeah,
to go through and all of those sorts of things. And it's not until your, your life is brought up in sharp
yeah,
forefront right in front of
mm,
you, and you realize how fragile life is. And let's be truthful, let's be honest, none of us know what's round the corner. None of us, it clearly says, doesn't it, in the Bible that, you will face trials and tribulations. So none of us know what's round the corner. And so when I had the honor and the privilege of supporting families and their loved ones through that difficult time, it made me realize that, and it has made me come away with this staunch belief that there are things you need to be concerned about and worried about, and there's things you just need to let go. So there's things that you can control, and there's things that are out of your control. So the things you can't control, just let them go. Just let them go, and forgive as quickly as you can forgive, and make the most of every day that you're on this planet for.
Wow. I'm just thinking of you as a nurse, and having you as a nurse with all of the things you've just said, how blessed a family will be to have you as the person supporting them, because it's a really tough thing to go through, that kind of, cancer is very cruel. And it does so much, like it's unexpected, nobody plans for it. And so when it comes, it almost feels like the end of the world. And so having, somebody in your corner, somebody caring for you, and saying all the wonderful things that you've said, I think is a blessing. I feel like we should clone you and put you everywhere so that you'll be there, supporting families, of people going through, and even the patients themselves. But I wanted to kind of link that into your own personal life. So you have been like an anchor, like a source of strength to many people in their own difficult season. So for you, have you had like people or habits or things that you've done, or moments, or just, people or things that have helped you through your own difficult season?
Yeah, so I would say so obviously my church have been, have been there for me through thick and thin. Super Working Mums, without one iota of a doubt, has been like, the steadfast thing in my life for the last 4 years. Let's be real here. It's molded me into who I am, and has grown me into who I am. And the support and love and care of my family. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's so important to have that support network. I know it. Yeah, we have our close, like, nuclear immediate family, but having a community like Super Okay Mom that you just mentioned, which we both belong to, and I also know how, for me, for you, and for all of the ladies in the group, how much that group has been a blessing to us. Having that kind of community is really, really important as well. And I think should, as women particularly, plug into safe spaces like that, where we can be in any season that we are. So when we're celebrating, they're there for us. When things are not going exactly the way we thought they would, they are also there for us. It's so amazing to have that kind of community, that safe space, where we can, have that bond and support one another. Is really, really a big blessing. So in this season of retirement, you're a grandma, you've kind of progressed like far, beyond some of us. You're way ahead of
Yeah.
so I just feel like for you, the way you see life will be a little bit different from like people like me that are still in active work and not yet a grandma and all of these things. So I just wanted to ask that in this season that you're in, what's meaningful to you? Like, what's like the key priorities for you, and what makes the most meaning for you at this time?
So my faith, most definitely.
Yeah.
And my friendships, the people that I hold dear, because like you have, as you said, you rightly said, you have your nuclear family. So like I've got my 2 daughters, I've got my hubby, I've got my grandson. I come from a very big family. I've got 8 sisters, and so my family is blended. It's it's complicated. It's not pretty. There's there's lots of stuff, but I can promise you that we are there for each other.
Mm.
So there's me and my two sisters, Geneva and Suzanne, and you know
Yeah,
Suzanne because
yeah,
she's part of Super Working
yeah,
Mums. We are always there for each other. We're on the phone to each other, we're supporting each other when each of us are going through that difficult time. We
yeah,
are there, we're sending flowers, we're, messaging, we're sending Bible verses, we're doing
yeah.
all of that to try and support and come alongside. Because
Mm.
there's, in those times, that's when you need people around you, don't you? You need people to hold you up,
Yeah, yeah.
because it is quite easy to get completely overwhelmed when you're
Mm.
going through a tough time.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely, you're so right. It's very important to have those people, especially there are times that you don't even have the words to articulate what you're going through, and
Exactly.
it, it
Yeah.
just feels like, everything, it feels like the world is caving in, but there's some
Yeah.
certain people that you don't even need to be able to tell them what it is. You don't need,
Exactly.
they're just
Exactly.
there for you, and
Yeah.
it's such a blessing to have that, to have people who
Yeah.
are just there. And yeah,
Mhm.
just sometimes you don't even need words, you just need
No,
the person.
exactly. It's just
Yeah,
the knock on the doorbell or the
yeah,
message. My
yeah.
sister has this
Mm,
knack of doing it. You're having a really tough day, and she'll
yeah,
send you a text with just like an encouraging verse
yeah,
or a funny picture or
yeah,
whatever it might be, and it will just immediately lift your
yeah,
spirits.
yeah,
And that's what we all need. That's what we all
yeah.
need. Yeah.
Absolutely, we all need that. We all need that, and we also need to be that for other people.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
just making ourselves available, because you just don't
Yeah.
know. You just
No,
don't know.
no.
Yeah, people go through
Mm.
so much. We all look, come out and we're smiling. Many
Yeah.
times there's so much deep down there that we're kind
Exactly.
of.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
how many times are we walking down the streets? And I mean, and I do this, and you'll see someone coming towards you, and they have got the saddest face on, the saddest face
yeah,
on. And as I'm walking past them, I'm automatically thinking, what is happening in your life to
mm,
make you feel the
yeah,
way you do?
yeah, yeah.
Because if you had a broken arm or a broken leg, or like
Mm,
me, you just had knee surgery, you've got something visible. But when
yeah,
it's something deep down, you've got nothing visible. So
yeah,
people can't see, they can just see that you've just got you've got like the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I just
yeah,
think there's so many people out there that are
yeah,
just in need of just
yeah.
some support.
Absolutely. And that's why it's just nice to just be kind, because you just don't
Yeah.
know. You just
No,
don't know. Like,
no,
you
no.
can't tell what people are dealing with, and it will just take one small thing to just trigger
Yeah.
people and make them, set them off
Yeah.
because of life situations and circumstances
Yeah.
that they're going through. Thank you so much. Oh, I've had, yeah, yeah. I know. I mean, you always inspire me anyway, but this conversation is just for the like. It's just proving my point. Like, you're well of wisdom, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much. And welcome to everyone who's joined us. Thank you for being here. Welcome, 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 Super Working Mom. We see you. Thank you for being here. I've been having a lovely, lovely conversation with Jali, talking about seasons and experiences. And if you've met Jali, you know that she is a powerhouse. She's a well of wisdom. She is so many things to so many of us. And so it's a great privilege to have Jali today. If you have any questions for Jali, please put it in the chat. As I said previously, we have Jali now. She's a very busy person. So let's make the most of having Jali here with us today. Thank you, everyone, for being with us so far. So I'm going to my next question, and we're gradually coming to the end of this. But my next question is about healing. So we've talked about going through difficult seasons, and having the right support network and having the right support systems.
Mm.
Um, and I know that as we go through these different seasons of our lives, sometimes in fact, most times we need healing. We need to heal through like difficult periods, especially
Mm.
going back to what you said earlier about taking out the lessons from
Yeah.
a not so pleasant situation. I think that comes from a place of healing. So I,
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you that, do you think healing happens all at once? Do you think like is it a once and for all thing, or do you think it is per time, per season? And in your own personal journey, what has that looked like? What has healing looked like in your own personal
Yeah.
journey?
I think for me, it's been a gradual thing,
Mm,
because I think sometimes when you're going through difficult times, and you're going through seasons that are quite, some of the seasons I've been through have been quite dark. And
mm,
actually, if I mean, I think sometimes it's a bit like an onion, isn't it? There's many
yeah.
layers to it,
Mm,
and you don't actually realize how many layers that
mm,
season has affected. So you think, I thought I dealt with a whole load of stuff from when I was sexually abused when I was a child,
mm,
up until a teenager. But actually, it wasn't until I got married and then a whole load of stuff came up that you
mm,
hadn't
yeah.
necessarily thought about that needed to be dealt with. And so I think sometimes, a bit like a splinter will work its way to the surface. That's
Mm,
what happens sometimes with the hurt and the
yeah.
pain that you've gone through in different seasons, that it will gradually
Mm,
work its way, and so it will gradually have to be dealt with at different times. And I still think, even to this day, there's stuff that I don't realize still needs to be dealt with. And it's not until you're in the thick of it you think,
mm,
that's why I'm feeling the way I am, or that's why that's affecting me in that way. So
mm,
it's a gradual thing.
mm. Yeah, I mean, what you just said, just kind of, because I didn't quite think of that before. You know, how a certain season can kind of dig up things from another
Yeah.
season,
Mm-hmm.
which is,
Mm-hmm.
which is, and I think it goes back to having the right support network, as we said previously,
Yeah.
because how do you then deal with that? Like, it's so you're already dealing with that season, and then you
Mm-hmm.
are having to deal with the whatever has been dug up from a previous,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like a double whammy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you need the right support to be able to unpick that correctly, because if not,
Yeah.
that
You
can
do.
turn to like a bigger issue,
Mm-hmm.
isn't
Mm-hmm.
it? Like,
Yeah, no, you do, definitely do. But the thing is that I've learned, which has been quite key for me, is it's okay to be not okay. It's
yeah,
okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to allow yourself to not feel okay, because in today's society there's so many people walking around that aren't
yeah,
okay, that just put a
yeah,
sticking plaster over it, and
yeah,
every few months it'll just get ripped off, and out will come all those emotions and everything, because they've not been
yeah,
dealt with.
yeah. So true, so true. Wow. Thank you so much for that. This is really, really good. Thank you so much. And thank you to our audience. Thanks for being there. Let's know how you're finding this. How is this, how are you finding what we've been talking about? Have you gained one or two things? Do you have any questions for Jale? Let's put those in the comment section as we go along. So I know all of this that we've been talking about kind of leads me to my next question, which is the amazing event that you've put on
Wow.
for us
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
July, which
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm this excited about it, I can't even imagine how
I'm
excited you
so
are.
excited. Yeah.
So I want you to please tell our audience a little bit about Seasons Change, the event that is happening in July, 11th of July, which, where, yes, woohoo, we are really, really excited. Tell our audience, where did that come from? Like, how did you come to
Yeah.
that decision?
So it all came from God. So we were away at an international retreat last year,
Mm,
in Malta, and we were sitting in the foyer, and because it was coming up, it was in November, so there was all Christmas stuff out. Remember that huge Christmas tree? It was
yeah,
enormous, and the little
yeah,
gingerbread town they had there.
yeah.
And yeah, it was just beautiful. And God just dropped on my heart the conference name of Seasons Changed.
Mm,
And he gave me the date of the 11th of July. And I was like, whoa, no, not me, not me. I'm
Yes.
one that's a wallflower. I sit at the back. I do the backward work. I'm not on the front. And I spoke to Datola about it, and she was like, Shelley, you're going to have to go for it. You're going to have to do this, if it's been given by God. And there were so many women there that went, yep, it's in my diary, it's in my diary, it's in my diary. I even had I had spoke to a couple of people about being speakers. There was just everything. It's been a bit like a domino thing, when you set up the dominoes to knock the next one down. That's what it's been like. And I just felt that what God's planted on my heart is that there are a lot of seasons that women go through that aren't spoken about.
Yeah.
They're just like taboo subjects. We all hear about the statistics of marriages breaking down when the kids leave home because of empty nest syndrome. The kids have gone off to uni, they don't need you as much as they did. You're coming up for retirement, and it's not even just that. It's like menopause, it's perimenopause, it's you name it. It's going to be topics that we don't normally bring out in the open because they're not spoken about. They're just, they're brushed under the carpet, and people suffer in silence. And what I really felt God wanted to do on this day was to give each woman they're going to get a tool belt with different things to deal with those different seasons, because let's be honest, we all go through it. There's going to be a talk about fertility. It's just I'm lost for words as to how excited I am, because I know that every single woman that's going to be coming to that conference is going to be blessed. There's going to be amazing food, there's going to be cakes. What more can you ask for? Us women like our food, don't we?
I know.
And there's going to be lots of laughter. It's going to be really relaxed. And women are just going to come away feeling as though they've been equipped. That's what it's all about.
Oh, Jolly, you can't even imagine. Another reason this is so, like, I feel so excited is because I feel like God is amazing in the way he does things. So for me, when this idea of the Bloom and Flourish Hub started, and then you spoke about your conference, for me, it felt like a confirmation of what I was going to do. Because the whole reason, the reason that I started this group is because, very similar to what you just said, how as women, many times we go through life and we don't have the tools to relevant for the next season or season ahead of us. And we end up suffering before we find what we need to go through that season. Which shouldn't be, because there's so much information. But nobody tells anything. Even people that have gone through, like you're saying, emptiness syndrome, menopause, everyone just keeps mute. And nobody says anything. And then
I know. Why do we do that? Why do we not equip the next generation to go through it? Preparing for retirement. Our identity is in our work. My identity was in my work for 37 years. And all of a sudden that's stripped away. And who am I? I can't even say, I can still say my mother, but they're grown up. They're grown up girls. I've got a nearly 13-year-old grandson. So, they don't need you as much as they did before. And it's just about you have to reinvent yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's so powerful that, all of this is happening, because this is what we need. We shouldn't go through the struggles that those ahead of us have gone through. And the lessons that those ahead of us have learned should be our toolbox, our toolkit.
Exactly.
To prepare us for the next season. Now I never ever thought of emptiness syndrome until you started talking about it. I'm like, okay, this is something we need to
I know. It's just because your life is sort of like put on hold while the kids are little, aren't they? Because they need you for X, Y, and Z. And don't get me wrong, they still need you as they get older, but in a completely
different
way. And 8 times out of 10, you give them the advice and they throw it away anyway. So Yeah, it's a weird season. It really is.
It
It is
is,
really
it
weird.
is, it is, it is. So yeah, well done. Thank you so much for putting this up. And if you're watching this video either now live or you're watching the replay, this is one event you don't want to miss. This is one event that everyone will benefit. There is nobody
Yeah,
on this
yeah.
planet that will not benefit from
I
attending this.
know, exactly.
Especially,
Do you know, it's one of my friends turned around and said to me, she was like, "Oh, but I've already gone through menopause." I went, "Yeah, but that means then you can support somebody
yeah,
else who's going through."
yes,
So just
yeah,
because you've been through it
yeah,
doesn't mean you shouldn't come, you
yeah.
know? So yeah,
Absolutely. And I think we need to start building that culture of knowing that,
yeah.
and this is one of the things that we learn in the super working mom community, that your experiences are not for you. You know,
No,
when you go through
the
something,
next
it's
generation.
because there's a
Mm,
bigger
mm,
nation, as we call it, that
mm,
is ready to
yeah.
be blessed by what you've learned through that journey. So
Yes.
going through your experience and then sitting on the experience that, like, I've done my bit and I'm off, that's not really what God wants for
No.
us. Yeah.
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 You
So
don't
it's
want it.
really,
You don't. So no season is wasted.
no.
No situation that you've been through is
Yeah.
wasted. You can use your experiences to bless others, and then what you don't know and you're not aware of is the ripple effect of how you've
Mm,
supported that person, because that person will then
yeah.
go on and support another person,
Yeah.
and that person will go on and support another person.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So true. Thank you so much. Please, if you have questions for Jale, put them in the chat. We're gradually coming to the end of this. So my next question, Jale, is how do people register? We've said about the date is the 11th of June. That date is of July. It's engraved in my brain. Um, but how do people register? Where do they get the tickets from? What's the venue? And just a little bit more
Yeah.
detail about the event.
So yeah, it's on the 11th of July, and you can get the tickets on Eventbrite. It's on a Saturday, and it's 9 till 5. Yeah, and it's at Hope Church in Orpington in Kent.
Yeah,
So which is literally like 15 minutes away from the train station. So
yeah,
it's pretty easy to get to.
yeah. Lovely. And I mean, 9 to 5 feels like a long time, but just to let everyone know that it's a 9 to 5 that is going to feel like it's going to feel
Yeah,
like
so
the
on
closing of
say
the
9 to 5, there's going to be breakfast from
yeah,
9 till 9:30. So
yeah,
you get breakfast. I'm going to go out and buy some lovely pastries and tea and coffee and stuff, and then the first session will start, and then we've got
yeah.
some panel discussions, and then there's going to be a break, and then another chat and another panel discussion. Then there's going to be lunch. There's going to be tables that you can go around and buy stuff from. There's going to be
Mm.
loads going on.
Yeah, wow. Amazing, amazing. So everyone, please get your tickets. Get your tickets. I'm going to put the link in the show notes so that you can all click. I'll share it on Instagram and all the other platforms. Please, please don't miss this. This is one I've never seen or witnessed. I've never heard of any event like this. And this is so needed. We need this. And there's so many topics. There's menopause, there's emptiness, there's what other topics? There's so many, isn't it?
Retirement, there's infertility, there's starting up a business. So there's everything.
It's just a very broad range. So please
Yeah.
get your tickets. As soon as we're done, I will share the link in the description and on Instagram, everywhere else, everywhere that you find us, you will find the details. And I look forward to seeing you all there. Please make sure you say
Yeah.
hello, that you watched this video and you registered. And it'd be lovely to see you. Let's know how your what you think about what we've been discussing so far. Just in one or two words, it would be nice to hear from you. What do you think? Have you been blessed by what we've shared? Do you have anything to add? Do you have any questions for Jale? Please do let us know in the comments. So we are coming very, very close to the end. And my question to you before we wrap this up, Jale, is if somebody was listening today and is currently going through a painful season, or a season of uncertainty, or those times where you're just not sure, or things are just not going the way you think it should, what would you want that person to remember?
That they're not alone.
Mm,
They're not alone. That there will be other women out there that are going through it or have been through it.
mm,
And so let's drop this bravado of trying to get through these difficult times on our own and
mm,
reach out to somebody that you can trust, that will support you and will give you, what you need to get through that season.
mm.
So
Absolutely.
definitely do not go through it alone.
Mm. So true. So true. And we've said time and time again this evening about plugging into a community. I mean, we
Yeah.
both belong to a community that has been a tremendous blessing to us. Super
Mm-hmm.
Working Mom, shout out to Super Working Mom. Um,
Yeah.
you're more than welcome to join us. Or if you find another community that is well more suited for you, just find your tribe, find your people, people that would truly, genuinely support you every season, whether it's when there's so much lovely things going on, or sometimes when it's not very pleasant. You need to be in
Yeah.
that right community, be
Yeah.
connected to the right people. Yes, you have your family, you have your friends, but you also need the support of the community. I'm saying that because that has been a real blessing for me personally. And
Yeah, no, definitely. Good, bad, and the ugly.
yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Mm, mm.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I see in the comments that our session has been inspiring. I have definitely been inspired. As I said before, Jale inspires me anyway, whether or not we're doing this session. So this is it's like a cherry on top of your inspiration, and you're somebody I look up to, I admire so much. I'm grateful to God for all that He's using you to do, because you're doing this is I think we've just only scratched the surface. There's so much more about you than
Yeah.
what we've spoken about today. But I'm just so grateful that you chose to come on live and have this discussion with me. Yeah,
Thank you for the opportunity.
my
Yeah.
mind my mind is blown. My mind is blown. Thank you so much. So we're about to wrap up. I'm just waiting to see if there are any thank yous or anything from the audience. I see Queen Esther, welcome. Thank you for joining. We're just getting to the end of the session. If you have any questions for Jale, please do put it in the chat now. In the meantime, I'm going to ask you, Jale, if you have any kind of parting words, like something to leave with the ladies. But I'm just giving the ladies or anyone. I keep forgetting that sometimes they can be men. So if there anyone that is on live with us, um, if you have any questions or any comments that you want to share, please go ahead and do that now. That's okay, Queen Esther. Thank you for joining anyway. Please put it in the chat. But Jale, as we begin to wrap this up, I've said that like 4 or 5 times, but we are indeed coming to the end. Um, what would you like to say to our audience as like something for them to, from the meetings that we've spent together this evening, something to go away with and like something they won't forget after this session, like a key word or phrase for us today?
Yeah, I think the key thing is that nobody, not anybody, not even royalty, don't go through seasons that are difficult. We all have difficult seasons. We all
Mm,
have difficult scenarios, situations that we go through, and it's all a matter of how you allow that season to affect you, and how and who you have around you, your support,
mm,
your tribe, to help you get through that season. And and then the key thing that I would say, my key parting thing, is it's okay not to be okay.
mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Nothing more to add to that. Jale, thank you so much. It's been wonderful having this conversation with you. I'm sure we'll have you back, and I know you will say yes. Please say yes whenever we have this.
Definitely, absolutely. Yeah.
But this has
Yeah.
been amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that has joined us. I see a comment. Absolutely brilliant session. This has been very informative and inspiring. Thank you so much, Winnie, for joining. Thank you, everyone. The replay will be on the Bloom and Flourish Hub YouTube channel. Please feel free to go back and watch it. And if you have any questions, put them in the in the chat and we'll pick them up from there. But yeah, Jali, thank you and enjoy the
Thank
rest of
you.
your evening. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.